Hi, I'm Sharon, Korean alcoholic. Thanks, Kate. You can tell it would sound a lot better with your accent. My story, I'm sure. It's nice to see you again, and Dave, and this whole row right here. If I look at them, I'm going to cry, so I'm not going to look at them because we have such wonderful memories together in Alcoholics Anonymous. I got to pray on my knees with the Al-Anon Linda before I got here, so we've never done that before, so let's see what happens. It's a good experience, I think. But we've all grown up together in Alcoholics Anonymous and have many wonderful and joyful. You can have joy through the pain in sobriety. Joy is there. Joy is gratitude. Joy is what gets me up in the morning. Joy is what brings me to your eyeballs and see. I get revitalized when I see you. I need to feel the joy. I need the connection of the heart. I forget. I'm an alcoholic. I go out in the day and I forget, and I come to a meeting, I sit in my seat and I go, oh, that's right, there's hope. It's like, I forget. It's crazy, but I've been doing it a while. I know there's a lot of really wonderful old-timers in this room, and I'm very, very, very happy, and I'm not worthy. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here and active and walking down the road of Alcoholics Anonymous and showing up, because that's the only way I know how to keep the connection going. I have a wonderful God in my life. I have wonderful people in my life. I have wonderful intuition in my life. I have a lot of really great stuff Alcoholics Anonymous has given me, but I need the connection. I need the God with skin on. I need to hold hands in the Lord's Prayer. I need to see you bring your dad to the meeting. I need to see the amends that were made and you come tell me about it. I need to watch your eyeballs turn on when just did the fifth step. I need to see it come alive again, to continue to have the hope that we are so lucky, so blessed, and so lucky. And when I hear your stories and I'm with you and I know you, I'm just so grateful that we get to come and have the joy and share our joy with each other, because it burns bright. I don't know really how to do much about a spiritual life, how to lead a spiritual life, other than suit up and show up and just try to brighten the corner where I am. That's it. If I can just brighten the corner where I live, wherever I am at that moment. Something funny happened to me the other day. I was really in a grumpy mood, and I work in a place, it's a beautiful part of Los Angeles where there's fountains and flowers, and everybody's thinking about themselves all the time. It's like, it's a lot of lawyers and professionals and entertainment people, so it's me first, you never, I swear to God, they'll be walking down the sidewalk like this, and I'll just stand there, and they'll bump right into me. It's like, so, it's not that I'm being a rebel or anything, but just trying to wake them up a little. They might walk in the street, so I'm just trying to wake them up a little. So I was in a grumpy mood, and I do like to walk out in the world at lunchtime and just smile at people. That's kind of been my thing the last couple of years. Just go out and smile at people, because Chuck C. used to talk about, it rains on the just and the unjust. I don't get to judge who gets my smile. I don't get to judge who gets my energy. I don't get to judge who gets my love, really. I just am supposed to get myself out of the way on a daily basis and be awake and be alert, have my ears open and my eyes open, and see if there's something I can do for one of God's kids in the world. And it doesn't matter who it is. I don't get to judge who gets in front of me on the freeway. You want to get in front of me? You get to get in front of me. I don't want to know a thing about you. You need to get there, go. So I go out in the day and I just try to smile at people. And it's been interesting. The last year or so, people are smiling at me first. I've become one of those people that they smile at. And go, oh, they're smiling at me. Like, oh, okay, that's right. Maybe I look a little different than I used to. So anyway, I work in this corporate world, and it's like such a stretch for somebody who used to be in the carnival. And don't even go there. But so we don't have homeless in this little part of Los Angeles, is what I'm saying. There's not a lot of homeless people there that kind of move them along, and so I was out walking, and I was in a really grumpy mood, and I thought, what's that person all camped out there by the light, and, well, it's a homeless person, believe me, we give money, we give sandwiches. My son can't go by a homeless guy without at least talking to him. but not that day. What's he doing here? It's Century City, you know, and he's got a camera looking up at people, and he's really pretty out of it. So anyway, I thought, I walked by him, and I had to go right to the bank, and I'm coming back, and I had to walk by him again because the light changed that way. It didn't go that way. I said, he better not take a picture of me. So somebody left the camera. He's taking pictures. He's having a great time. So I'm just walking by. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not going to smile at him. I'm not going to, and I get stuck there, and there's some people around me. I'm trying to move, and he looks up at me, and he catches my eye, and he goes, looks down at me, and he looks up at me, and he goes, cute shoes. Cute shoes. So that was my okay, that's, wake up, Sharon, cute shoes. Someone's trying to get in there, and it doesn't, you never know where anything's going to come from. So cute shoes woke me up that day. And I like to be awake and alert in my life because I drank and I was out of it, and I was in blackouts, and I tore people up, and I broke hearts, and I just threw away so many gifts that God had given me in my life. And it amazes me that I have all my fingers and all my toes, because I hitchhiked, I drove in blackouts, I landed in places with people I didn't know that weren't nice to me, and but I'm a survivor, and I know that this room is full of survivors, and there's something that a great fact deep down within spoke to me on August 20th, 1975, and it was that little voice that I want to live. I want to live. And I woke up a drinker, and I went to bed a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've been here ever since. And I don't know how that happens, other than it was my day. It was my day. We all get to that point, if we're here in the room, and many alcoholics, many have died, and their parents will never sleep at night soundly again, and my mother sleeps at night because of AA, thank you. Just because of that, thank you. But, it's so here we are. We're here, and just by seconds and inches, the hair on your chinny chin, but we've had that surrender in that moment, and if you've had that precious moment of surrender, I get it renewed every time I come here. I remember how lucky I am. How lucky I am that an alcoholic of my type went to bed, a sober member of Alcoholics Anonymous, on August 20th, 1975, and I'm still here. And I didn't even want it. I didn't even know about it, really. I was a little girl in Iowa looking for the mothership because I knew they left me. When I came to AA, my very first speaker, I don't remember anything much about that meeting, but he said he always waited for the spaceship to land and say, "You can come home now, Bill." And my little foggy brain went, spaceship people. I found my people. And that was my first meeting and my first connection. But I was ready, and that's the beauty of that day, was on August 21st, 1975, I might have had a plan. On August 19th, was I done? I don't know. But on August 20th, it was like the window flew open. I had that little spark left of life that spoke to me loudly. And I got pulled through that window. The window slammed shut, and here I've been with you. I have grown up here. I have been with you. I've marched a lot of marches. I've learned to be a good soldier in life. I've been given tools for living. I've made the spiritual muscles, picking them up and using them. I've asked questions. I've not known everything. I've learned to be a listener. I've learned how to be a giver. You've given me so much. And my mother sleeps at night because of you. And we were glad that we know what's wrong with me, because this month, my brother is going to get his doctorate in university in I think it's South Carolina. My nephew is being, I don't know what they call it, inducted into the State Department. I don't know what they call it. It's just a very successful family all the way around. And then there's me. I know my sister, the Mensa's coming in, it's Nurse Sally with the ponytail and the horse, Dad's favorite, And then like I said, my brother, and then there's me, the one that never, ever could really sit still, had to jump out of the car and go stop the car so I could run back to Grandpa and Grandma's house and give them one more kiss and hug because they might die before I see them again. I mean, like, things were serious for me. I was an insomniac growing up, and I was looking for the mothership, and then I found alcohol. Yes. It was spiritual for me. I mean, why be a good little Catholic girl and do all the things you have to do to go to heaven when you can have a bottle of Canadian Club and have a spiritual experience, you know? It's like, that did it for me. And when the spiritual experience died, I mean, I was like a spiritual orphan when alcohol didn't work for me anymore. It was just like, oh my God, where's my mommy? Alcohol worked for me. It calmed me down. It got me focused. It made me not care. It gave me courage. It gave me strength. It gave me spunk. It kind of focused me. You know, it was like, let's party. Let's go and let's have a great time and let's party. It focused me. All those voices got down to one solid, loud, let's party voice. And it was the 60s. It wasn't just say no. It was just say thanks. It was a lot of fun. Did a lot of things. And my mother and father, I mean, I had a suicide attempt. My dad tried to help. I went to a psychiatrist. They brought the priest. I got drunk with the priest. I couldn't talk to the psychiatrist. I had my heart broken. I wasn't going to cry. My fiance got tutored by this tutor. I caught him being thanked by his tutor, or he was thanking his tutor one night. I'm driving by going, I think that's my fiance thanking his tutor. So it was easier to just kind of not put my heart out there anymore. And so that's what started happening to me in my teens. So geographics were good for me. New York City, worked in an ad agency. And Mad Men was before that, but we were smoking, drinking martinis, taking LSD. I mean, we were doing it all, you know, at New York City, and a wild, crazy time and lots of fun. And back to college, couldn't paint. Alcohol asked for my art talent, and I gave it. Alcohol asked for my musical talent, and I gave it. Now, I don't know if it was, you know, I drank at the West End bar. I used to go see this guy that had the bumps on his head. You know, well, he had the bumps on my head, he had the bumps on his head, and we would tell me about my life. A new bump. Oh, a new bump. Where is it? Oh, it's in this vortex or that. You know, it's just, we're drinking in the West End bar, reading the bumps on my head. That was every Friday. I was looking for answers. I was such a seeker. I had to know the answer. And the answer wasn't in a fiance. The answer wasn't in college. The answer wasn't in blowing my saxophone. The answer wasn't in painting any pictures. The answer wasn't in being part of that family. The answer wasn't in that Catholic God that was love growing up. No big deal. It was like God was love. And then God became somebody I better hide from because of the shame and the guilt. And I don't know if being in Colorado and the bartender would have said, you know, now with your alcoholism going down this path here, you're going to have to give up your dignity. Are you ready to do that? Just try saying dignity when you're drunk. I mean, it's just, you have my dignity, take it, you know. And I don't want any bartender philosophy, and buy him one too while you're at it, you know. And so then I think I met Bob Dylan, I'm not sure, but I came to California with this guy, sang like him, looked like him. Summer he was missing, who knows. Commune, asked to leave the commune because I'm the drinker. They're all mellow, smoking everything, and I'm like, I'm drinking their bong wine because there's no wine, and you know, they asked me to leave. So I stuck my thumb out with a new dog they gave me, and I ended up back at home. Now I'm 21. My gallbladder's not working. I have pancreatitis. I am beginning to have the physical ravages that a woman alcoholic gets in her life when you pour a lot of alcohol down you. And now my dog gets hit by a car. I'm drinking in those local taverns in that small town in Iowa, judging everybody in there. They sit me with the children at Thanksgiving. Grandmother doesn't sit me at her big table where I used to sit. I'm with the kids in the card tables now in the other rooms. And because I dressed a little odd, I might act a little odd. Am I going to sob on the turkey or stab it? Nobody really knew, you know. And I had the feeling then that I wasn't part of that family anymore, that they really didn't understand. So another part of me held up. I had to give that up. Alcohol asked for that. My disease wanted that, and I gave it up. So I was a little more desperate. My life became a little more desperate. So the dog was killed and, ended up in the trunk of the car. It was frozen. My mother caught me sitting in the trunk of the car crying drunk over this dog. She wondered where the dog had gone. Just worried about me. I'm a mom, and, Mom's Day is Sunday, and I just think, what we put our mothers through. So it's just, I'm so grateful that we have steps to mend all that and to heal. If you would have told me I'm going to come in here and things will heal up, I would have gone, it never will, so I'm out of here. If you would have told me here's a brand new life, I would have said, I don't want one, I don't deserve one, I'm out of here. If you would have told me anything coming in at you other than you look tired, kid, sit down and listen and stay with us, It was easy to do because I had a broken jaw, so I was wired shut. I couldn't talk, so I had to learn to listen. First 3 months in AA, couldn't talk. It was great, so I didn't make a lot of enemies. But they just look at me and go, oh, she looks tired. Maybe she'll make it, And so the organic farm, now that didn't work either. What can I say? That's how I ended up at the carnival a year later with my crop that I grew. But they left me because I'm the drunk. Why can't you just smoke this? Why do you have to act like that? And I thought, you guys are boring. The hootenannies and the little organic wine, they drink these tiny little... Still, it makes me nervous thinking of those little glasses of organic wine. And I had to, I need my drink. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, good. But they went to do primal therapy, and I got drunk and screamed at the sheep, and they left, and that was fine. So that's how I joined the carnival, because I went to do this big deal and make all this money and get out of Wisconsin. It was cold. It's going to get colder. Been through that winter, never again. And I didn't shave at all. I hardly bathed. Everything was like growing, and it's too cold to bathe. I've never had that experience of the wind blowing through the hair on your legs before, and it was like, I had to go turn the windmill on. Yes, it was an organic farm, don't even ask. And I stood at the top on the spring day, and I thought, there's ants crawling on my leg, and it was all the hair on my legs with the wind blowing through. It's like, oh my God, I looked at myself and said, this has got to go. This is like, I have turned into somebody I don't want to be, playing the spoons, trying to fit in. It was just bad. And every time I get drunk, it was an ordeal, because I would tell them what I thought of them, and I wasn't Little Miss Organic Mellow anymore. So this carnival, I broke my mother's heart. I called her from Arkansas. Yes, Mother, I joined Matt Armstrong shows. I tried to tell her about, the teddy bears and the shooting gallery, and she just started crying. So I can't talk to my dad anymore. We had kind of a parting. I don't really know when it was, but it was... I remember when he wouldn't look at me anymore in the eye. I remember when I couldn't entice him anymore with my pain, to let him see it and then to back him off and let him help me. I did that a lot. And I remember when he just would set his jaw and not look at me anymore, and we wouldn't have the conversations like we used to have, or we wouldn't even... Dad's at the breakfast table, I'll wait. Dad's walking down the hallway, I'll wait. I didn't want any contact that hurt too much. I was that little girl that my dad taught how to, run his calculator tapes and find his errors and go bill collecting with him. And I had I had played the accordion. It wasn't cool then, it's not cool now, but, my dad is second generation from near Prague, and he's 7/8 Czech, and he played this beautiful button accordion by ear, and I played the Titano, Italian accordion. And now my dad and I can't even ride in the car to Grandma's house, or ride in the car to the hardware store, or ride in the car to go get him some parts for, he had a construction business and a lot of equipment. And, I didn't make him proud anymore. There was nothing that lit his eye up. He couldn't look at me. And so now my mother cries when I call home because I'm with this carnival. And, that was the end of that was the last 3 or 4 years of bad drinking, because I was in jail, and, Bogalusa, Louisiana, a southern jail. They popped me and the guy that was my new roommate, and he had a pet skunk named Crank, and so the skunk and him and me and my dog went to jail, and it was all, the carnival didn't come back and save us. They left us there, and I was having DTs in jail. I didn't realize what it was, and I was pretty crazy. And I guess I got a phone call a couple days later, and I'm screaming for my Miranda rights because they never read them to me. They just put a shotgun in my belly, and I stood there in my motel room, excuse me. I guess this brother-in-law of mine had called my father, and my dad got on a plane in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and made his way down to New Orleans, and rented a car and went across Lake Pontchartrain to Bogalusa, where his daughter number 2 is in a jackpot. And all I remember is they put cuffs on me, and they threw me in a car, and they drove up to this building, and they escorted me in and sat me down in a chair, and there's a desk and a guy who was the lawyer, and there was a bail bondsman, and then there's my dad. I hope I never forget how I felt that day. I hope I never, ever forget how I felt. I hope you have a day like that day is for me, that you never want to forget where it took you, the shame and the hurt and the pain that my father must have felt sitting there. But he did the right thing. He showed up and he did the right thing, because that's my dad. And I have a lot of him and me. You've just taught me how to show up no matter what. I've become very much like him in a lot of ways. But I don't want to forget how I felt that day. And many, many, many years later, I got to make amends to my dad for that. And you know how we are. Do you remember that day, Dad? He's sober. He has to write the check. He has to rent the car, buy the plane ticket, right? Do you remember that day? Yeah. But by now, it was a moment where he could laugh. And I just said, what did I say? I don't remember. He said, the only thing you said was, I'm not guilty and it's not my fault. And that was going to be my oath until I came to you. I'm not guilty and it's not my fault. You want my list? Don't play any country and western music, because I will cry on your lap and tell you my list. You don't want to hear it. And don't get me drinking gin. Oh my God, I turn into the most slobbering, horrible, sad, sorry. Oh my God, please somebody get her away from me. I'm a tequila drinker. I like amphetamines. I like Harleys. I like fast and go and instant. I want instant gratification. In Alcoholics Anonymous, I've learned how to have patience. I've learned how to wait. I've learned how to be. I've learned how to breathe. I've learned how to listen. I've learned how to stay teachable. I've learned how to know that pain is a touchstone of growth. I've learned how that humility is what is left when the pain has been removed from humiliation. I've learned that too. I've learned, that's when he told me the other day, that humility is when you can say grace before you eat crow. I like that one. Boy, oh boy, and I landed in New Orleans, and I was just thinking about when 1980 I went back to New Orleans for the International. I'll talk about it in my amends workshop, but they didn't believe just how you had cleaned me up. They were amazed. The word was out. Just how you had cleaned me up spoke volumes. And so I drank and danced and tended bar and passed out and blacked out, and occasionally would move to Florida in the middle of the night with people I didn't know, swimming with dolphins. I come out of my blackout. I think they're sharks. They're dolphins. I don't know where I am. I don't know these people. I guess I drove down the freeway the wrong way. But I quickly moved back to New Orleans and moved up to St. Louis just to find the guy that I was in the jail with the skunk, because we hated each other, but he left first, so I'm going to go talk to him about it. A 2-year relationship of black eyes and knife fights and insanity. And I was drinking with my drag queen friends one night, and they had a good idea, like, well, he left you, and, I think they wanted my clothes. I think they just, we moved me out that night, and they took a lot of my clothes. I think they just wanted my dresses. But anyway, I moved to St. Louis in the middle of the night to find this guy. And I did find him eventually, and he got off his Harley, and he took off his helmet, and he crashed the window, and he pulled me up by my hair as a St. Louis police car pulled up, or it would have gotten messier. And he spit in my face. He said, if I ever see you again, I will kill you. And that's how I let go of the relationship. Because I hang on till I squeeze the life out of it. If it belongs to me, it belongs to me. And even if it's not good, who cares? It's mine. It's my turd. I'm hanging on. But, all right, so New Orleans and craziness, and I met 2 girls there that are sober with me today, and that's an amazing story. I get to sponsor one, and the other one went from the bar to the bar. She owned a bar and then passed the bar, and we saw each other at our worst, and here we are, and we sat at that conference where your son had his awakening. Robin, Denny, and me in a little cabin in the middle of Oklahoma with a huge rainstorm, and we couldn't get out. And one newcomer was in the room with us, and we started talking about, we drank together. I mean, we passed out together. We shared everything together. We were the 3 musketeers of the quarter. And there we were, sober, sitting in this cabin in the middle of Oklahoma, talking about our gods. And we started talking about our friends, and so many. John the painter. Oh, he can't paint anymore. He's on a walker. His hands shake. Amazing painter. Wow. Our other friend who was sitting next to one of the guys, the bullet was meant for him in the bar, but it got her. We die in stupid ways. Stupid ways. Ends of coffee tables hit our temples. We choke on our vomit. We drown in pools. We break hearts. We break hearts. That we live in a time and space where there's Alcoholics Anonymous almost everywhere. I mean, you could drop us into somewhere and we'll find AA. We'll find our people. And if you don't like where you are, go find something that you like. Make it happen. Put your life into it, because it is your life. Let your logs burn bright. Light them up and let them burn. If you need a log, you can have one of mine tonight. I got so many logs today with you guys. Gosh. My husband was supposed to be here, and he can't be because he's very sick. But he sends his best, and he said to tell you that. He said, I'm sending you my wife, my best. So I'm here representing both of us, because he's a longtime member of AA, and we all love him very much. And we're strong, wonderful people with that spirit of life in us, because it was just by the hair of my chinny chin I got here. I told you I had a broken jaw, and I was on my way to Hawaii. It's a long story, but the guy I was with, I had DTs in Texas. I guess it was a dry county or something. We couldn't get something, and I think I scared him. We ended up at this bar, Barney's Beanery, and he left $50 on the bar, said I'm going to the bathroom, and never came back. I mean, those were the ends of my quick relationships, because I think I scared people. I was really bad. I was 170, 80 pounds of bloated, toxic, alcoholic mess. I had liver spots on my face. My gallbladder was gone. I had pancreatitis. I had a red dashiki on most of the time and a Panama hat, and I was unemployable. And but I had a book called Be Here Now by Baba Ram Das in my backpack, And I was drinking at Barney's with this guy, and he left, and somebody said, let's go to Palm Springs, and they had Harleys, and I said, great. And I pulled up my dashiki and got on, and when we got there, I thought they were going to party with me, and they said, now we just need a little extra weight. It was windy going through the desert. Thanks. It's like, but I'm in a nightclub. What do I care? So, see ya. And I met some people that this time I couldn't fight my way out. This time I couldn't cry my way out. This time I couldn't buy my way out. This time I didn't care to. I just stopped screaming, and my jaw was broken in 3 places. My nose was broken, and I had a concussion, and they kind of rolled me off the side of the road in the desert, and it was July 27, 75. And when I was found by a pool in a lawn chair and by a gardener who called the police, and when I came to, I was on a gurney in Palm Springs Hospital, and the police were there, and I kind of came to and realized I was being prepped for some sort of surgery. I didn't really understand what was going on, and then I kind of realized that there was something kind of big going on. They ended up catching these guys, and it was a court. I was the victim of violent crime in the state of California. I think Jacoby and Meyer sent me like $750 or something. I was like one of the first cases. They wouldn't give me, they gave me food stamps when I left the hospital, like I could eat, you know? It's crazy. Anyway. The police were there, and I had to write my name and stuff, and, you know, and I saw the word that made me smile, but I couldn't smile because my face was hanging off. Victim. Victim in my name. Finally. I was shooting for victim. I was 25 years old shooting for victim. And anything that God had given me to brighten the corner of the world where I lived, I had drunk it up. I had given it away. And I was a spiritual orphan because nothing was working for me, and I was still seeking something. I knew there was something somewhere that I had to find, and I didn't know it was you. And boy, I just, you know, in the hospital for 2 weeks, living above a liquor store, drinking cheap wine through the place where the tooth had been kicked out, because I'm a drinker, but there was no more relief. There was no more fun. There was no more, let's take this down to the corner bar in any of that drinking. It was just drinking. And the guy that had let me stay there said, "You're depressing me, you have to leave." And that was August 20th, 1975. I called my mother, and my mother said words that she doesn't really know where they came from that morning, or you'd have another speaker. She said, "Sharon, I can't help you anymore, go to the Salvation Army." She said, "No." So I looked at a phone number, and there was a number there of a girl that was very nice to me, always was nice to me, bought me drinks, gave me jewelry, liked her. So I called her. She was dating the guy that was asking me to leave, and she was an in-and-out member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and that day she wasn't sober, so she had me call a stranger, and I called a stranger, and I don't do that. But I called a stranger. Her name was Chris Running, and I'll be forever grateful for her. So she got me a woman named Suzanne. I can't talk or shoot, but she knows the liquor store I'm living above because it's an alcoholic liquor store because they sold after hours out the back. Everybody knew that liquor store. So she could tell the Duck Pond liquor store when I was kind of mouthing this, but she said, got my attention. She said, "Put your drink and put your joint down." I should have both. She got my attention, and she told me exactly where to go sit. She knew the stairs of that liquor store, and I sat there with my backpack and my broken huaraches and my torn jeans and my bleach-stained T-shirt and my broken jaw, my broken spirit, and my broken life. And this car pulled up, bright, bright, bright yellow Volkswagen, and I just thought, no. And these beautiful girls, I don't know I'm going to AA, I just know they're coming to help me. And these beautiful California, bright-smiled, shiny hair. You know, I drank in bars where we painted the windows black. I don't like light. I don't, you know, they were bright, these girls, and it was like they hurt to look at them, and everything hurt for a long time, really. Everything was bruised and hurt for I couldn't touch my cheekbones for almost a year. It's, everything hurt. I just, I was so tired, and they just lifted me up and put me in the back of this Volkswagen where I can't get out. I'm stuck. And I know, but that's love, because I haven't bathed in a while. I'm detoxing. I'm smelling pretty rancid. I was smelling that this morning going through the TSA. The guy ahead of me was like, "Stale, good night out, man, woo," you know, and he left his phone in the little thing, you know, that's how with it he was. And So the TSA guy asked me, he said, well, can you describe him? I said, yeah, smells like he had a good time last night. Gray shirt, I knew exactly. I was like with it, but I just thought I paid attention to him because I know what that smells. I remember, those mornings and stuck to something and, hangovers and sick and body aches and nothing working right. And I end up at this meeting with these people. I don't know where I am. And then I see, this book, Alcoholics Anonymous. I'd seen it in the bar, Barney's Beanery. I'd seen it. This girl was drunk. This Chris Running, the girl whose number was there that morning, that guy was asking me to leave his apartment, and her number was there because she was dating him. She was the girl who had the book in the bar, and she was too drunk to drive. So the bartender took away her keys, called a taxi, and we cheered her out with our drinks. Go, Chris, go for you, go to A&A. So I saw that book, Alcoholics Anonymous. Oh. Then the guy did the spaceship thing. Oh. I'm really out of it. I had kind of my brains had been scrambled a little. So a man named Maurice, he was a great writer in Los Angeles. Maurice, great guy. And he came over and he had the book, and he knew. I didn't know how they knew I was new, right? You can smell me, you can see me. I'm my backpack, all this. It's like, newcomer in the room, yay, you can smell it. So he kept talking about payment terms, and I had a quarter in my pocket, and I gave him a quarter. And he was really happy with that, and he wrote it down. And when I turned 1 in Alcoholics Anonymous, we have something called a watch. My group has this thing called a watch, where we watch. You turn 1 year sober, we're not going to let you out of our sight. You go to the bathroom, go with them. You're stuck in a booth, midnight, they're going to make it till midnight, So at my watch, Maurice came that night before midnight and wished me a happy birthday. And, he was an older guy, so I felt really honored that he said, I knew you'd stay sober. I came to tell you that because you're the only newcomer that year that paid me back for that big book, 1 quarter at a time. Because, see, I'm not going to owe you. I don't want to owe you. I don't want you to say those bad things about me when I leave. I'm just going to... I had this little tiny spiral notebook, and I would write down when somebody would give me some money. I would write down if somebody would give me a ride. I would write down if somebody gave me some clothes. I would write down, cigarettes. I would write all that down because I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back. So for 3 months, I couldn't work. I couldn't, it was just a mope. But people put me on their floors. People took me to meetings. They said, if you, just stay sober in between meetings, we'll pick you up and take you home. And that's what they did. And my mother sent me a blender so I could eat. And so now I had the big book, my bag of mismatched clothes, my book Be Here Now, and a blender that would move around, and a borrowed sleeping bag. So that was my worldly possessions. And a man named Chuck Nesbitt, great guy in our group. These people are all at the big meeting on the sky. It's great, wonderful. I heard a lot of wonderful speakers, Norm Alpe and Chuck and Jimmy Ryan and on and on. Sybil, Sybil was around for a long time. I heard a lot of great speakers, but I remember the kindnesses of the people in Alcoholics Anonymous. I remember what Chuck did for me that night. He took away that notebook and he looked at me and he said, he didn't give me a chance to explain because first of all I can't talk and secondly he doesn't really care. He said, put that book away. The way we want to be paid back, Sharon, is to pass it on. One day you're going to have a car, a driver's license, and insurance all in the same name. How do you know that, right? And, he said, you'll have a couch where somebody can sleep as a newcomer. You'll be able to give rides. You'll be able to stick $20 into that newcomer's purse when they go to the bathroom because they need it. Pass it on. That's the way we want to be paid back. Put that book away. A woman named Pat Hodges, one of Clint's wives. He's up there with a couple of them. It's great. Probably really enjoying themselves. Was taking me home that night, and I couldn't drink any coffee without spilling it, I guess, and it was running down my cheek at the table, the coffee after the meeting. And she looked up at me horrified, and I realized what had happened, and I felt like just, somebody just so low, and I thought she was going to throw up her hands and go, why do I have to take her home tonight? Why is it not my night to watch her again? Can't somebody else? She's a slob. I saw that in her eyes, that she was getting ready to say that. But she didn't do that. she picked up a napkin and she dabbed the corner of my face, and she put it down on the puddle on the table, and she went back to her conversation. But before she did, she gave me a wink. And that wink fueled that ember of life in me. She threw some kindling on me that night. And when Chuck told me that he trusted me, that I could pass it on, he gave me a big old twig on my fire. I burned a little brighter that night. People just kept feeding me with those kind of kind, loving actions. And that, to me, is how we heal, is we take the broken, we take the hopeless, we share what we have, our experience. That's why when I found you, it was like, you weren't telling me something, you were sharing with me. And that lit me up. And I've been in this circle of life with you for a long time. And I've been able to throw some kindling on some other logs and embers of life as we come in here with very little, and watch those bright fires light up other bright fires. And I read a few years ago something that Blake had written, and he said, gosh, he was sitting by the Ganges River where, the religion there is they wrap the people and they give them food and they put them on this boat, and it's called a pyre, and they burn them. They light the souls on fire as that's their funeral pyre, and they send them down the river. And they must have certain times they do it. And he was watching all of these pyres burning at night going down the river. Man, he thought about each life with each pyre burning. And he said something that when I read it, it went right into my soul. It said, when they throw me on the pyre of life, may I be all used up. And I just thought, yeah, use me up. Take every piece of me. Because by myself, I can't do anything. But with God, I'm in his army. I'm in God's army. I'm a good soldier. You've given me the tools to be a good soldier and to show up. I have a job. I've become a worker among workers. I've always had a job, whether it was waiting tables or travel agency, finding out I was afraid to fly. That was fun. I had to find God, and God is in first class always, always. And, I'm back there usually, but there's a seat, and God's in it up there, and he's taking care of me. And I worked my way into the legal field just by learning how to show up, keep my head down, and work hard. And you taught me that. I mean, there are many times I would come out into the outdoors and, and then we'd laugh about it or close my door. When I talk to you, we laugh about it, It's like my foot's hanging off, ha, ha, ha. I mean, we have the same experience. We think the same. We're wired the same. My mother has been able to come out and be with me in AA and come to a couple of my birthday parties. And she's met my sponsor, and she never got to meet Janet. She met Janet, that's right. Janet was at my wedding, my first wedding. It's AA, sorry. That was when my dad walked me down the aisle. And at the end of that wedding day, he looked at me and he said, Sharon, look at your life, you got it made. If you think about doing what you were doing before, think twice. I was like, oh, the earth is going to move right now. My dad just gave me approval. But you gave me enough grace to look at him and go, yeah, you're right, Dad. I gave my dad that moment. I didn't take it away from him. You taught me how to share those moments instead of making it all about me. So I've learned how to be a worker among workers. I'm a good sponsee. I'm a good sponsor. I'm in the circle of life. I've had a lot of. I've had to rescue a lot of pets just to make amends to the animal kingdom. I had turtles that, one crawled through my white powder one Mardi Gras. I don't even want to go into that. I had to bury him with a spoon in Jackson Square and with a horrible hangover. And he did have a little smile on his face, though. So I had to take the other one to the pet store to please take my turtle. I'm going to kill it. And they said, okay, lady, we'll take your turtle. It's like, So I've had a lot of chances to make some amazing amends, and I really want to talk about that Saturday. And with my dad especially. He's been gone for 12 years, and I've got to tell you, Alcoholics Anonymous gave me the innocence back in that relationship. I never thought it would happen. And at my dad's funeral, he was killed very suddenly, and my sponsor, who was a man named Clancy, because at 10 years of sobriety, my husband decided he wanted the newcomer in the room. And you know what, I don't know where I am with my time. 10 minutes more? 20, okay. At 10 years of sobriety, my husband decided he wanted the newcomer in the room. And that was very painful because my sponsor of 21 years got off a plane from Paris and had 21 days. She was smoking pot in Paris. And I had this new baby that was born. My life was really good, going really well. And, what the heck? What happened here? So I ended up at Clancy's house with my baby in a stroller, and I said something like, I don't know you, and I don't know if you like me, but I need help. And he said, come in and sit down. So he said, yeah, I know what happened with Ginny. I heard, and I know what you're going through. And so I asked him if he would work with me, and he said, we'll try. So that was 25 years ago, over 25 years. We're still trying. So when my dad was killed, it was really very stressful, and Clancy was out of the country, and Johnny Harris he's my husband's sponsor, and Johnny was there for us and got me on the plane, and I get home, and AA's already at my mother's house. You're already there with the coffee pot on, welcoming people. You were already there, because when I go home, I go to AA. I sponsor a couple women in my home state. And there was the day of the funeral. I wanted to play Amazing Grace for my dad on the accordion. So he's got that button thing, right? I played the piano one. So I pull out his button accordion, and I get a girl I sponsor, and I pull her in. We're in this room. It's buttons, it's just a whole new thing, and I'm working on it, and and I think it was like 2 hours intensity, and I looked at Kathy and said, how's it sound? She said, it's fine. It was like, she was like, can I get out of here now? It's just... So I'm going to have to do this at my dad's event there, that, it's his funeral, but it's becoming about me, right? And so I go to the rector, and I call Clancy because I know he's back at the mission, and I'm on hold. Doesn't he know I'm on hold? So I hang up, I call back, and I tell him who it is, and I say, tell him he's got 60 seconds, so get on the phone. So this whole evening, this is my dad's wake, it's become about me now. And Clancy gets on the phone, and this is what we do for each other. In a way that I didn't know how to have humor in my life to push me through, but he made me laugh. He says, Sharon, you'll do a beautiful job. I'm so sorry what happened. I met your dad. I know your dad. I know your story with your dad. I'm so sorry what happened. He was a good man. He died with his boots on. And I said, yeah, I did. And I tried to play him this number, and I worked on this accordion. It's his accordion, and it's buttons, and, he's listening to the drivel. And he said, Sharon, you'll do a beautiful job. I want you to look around that church when you're done, because there will not be a dry eye. But look for the couple of people sobbing, because those are the musicians. Brought me right back. Okay, all right, I'll go do a good job. Yes, sir. My world gets so small when it becomes about me. My ex did what he had to do, and it was a stressful year, and my son got kicked out of kindergarten. I gave him to the Catholics. I just talked to Sister Sheila a couple hours ago. I gave him to her. She was a principal of the school. I sponsor her. When she asked me, it was like I just gave her a 30-year cake. This nun asked me to sponsor her all these years ago, and I remember when she asked me, I went, "You're talking to me?" It's like, okay. It's been a joy sponsoring this woman. And so I got to give my son to her. And they did a beautiful job with him. AA did a beautiful job. I was a single mom for a long time. My husband and I started dating a couple of years after my divorce, and we dated a long time. We got married 5 years ago. We've been together 23, a long time. But we didn't live together. I was raising my kid, sponsoring, doing AA, showing up, trying to build a career. He was building a career, sponsoring, doing AA, showing up. So we had school nights, we didn't. And then, I have a boy. I'm a mom. I know how those boys are. You got to, stay on them, got to keep it. And, my kid is great. He's great. He's in New York City right now doing something he loves. He'll be home the end of May. I want to see if he remembers Mother's Day. See how great he is. See if he remembers. I think he will. And my husband and I we moved in a year before we got married because we got engaged, and that was okay. I mean, we're adults, and my sponsor was so happy when I got engaged. He was so happy. He put it in our bulletin that we have at our meeting about what's going on, and you practically have to die to get in that bulletin, but he was so happy. And we eloped, and we had a great time, and my son gave me away, and that ex-husband and that wife, they went about their life and had a baby and went about their life. And my sponsor said to me when I was going through that, "You will walk through this with dignity and grace." I want revenge right now. Yeah. I'm throwing this hot coffee on them. See me where I'm headed? They're too happy in that corner over there. But he said, "So you can be an example to others." And I heard him. And when he left her, how they come is how they go sometimes. And years later, she told me I knew I could do it because I had watched you. It's not, I don't know. We were talking about alligators today. Dave picked this up. I don't know why they throw me to the swamp alligators. I'm supposed to keep swimming. That's my job. Keep swimming. Go to the next island. I know what's back there. I've been through it. I can go back and wallow in it, or I can sit in the hallway and know that the door will open. And while I'm in the hallway, you're in the hallway. There's other people in pain in the hallway. Take off my blinders and ask somebody else how they're doing. Adopt someone in the room that's having a hard time. Take them to a meeting. Take them to dinner. Go to a movie. Eat some popcorn. Play some music. Hang some art. Enjoy the hallway. Throw open a window. The view is coming. I have never been disappointed, ever, ever. When I've walked through the hallway with you, with your encouragement, more step work, a lot of God, a lot of bootstraps, showing up, getting through that next door. The view is always more beautiful. I've never, ever been disappointed, ever, that I have stayed sober through the pain, ever. And right now where I am, I'm believing that too, even in my pain. He's a fighter. He's a fighter. I don't know what tomorrow is, but I know today I'm with you. And today, I love Colorado. There's an aspen grove you can see from space. It's that big because it's one big root system. And we need each other to feed on each other. The new ones that bring the sunlight in from the outside and the fresh soil and the fresh nutrients, and the big ones that grow and bring all of that fresh air down to the roots that the other ones can feel. And if things die out, the new ones spring up. And it's all we're connected. Our hearts beat at the same time when it comes to alcoholics. Our energy, our love, we all can transfer it to each other in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous because it's about hope. Hope. And that's something that I didn't even know I needed in my life, and that's what I was seeking all along, how to be useful and how to have hope. And I've been able to share every piece of it. And when they put me on the big pyre of life, may I be all used up. I used to think freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Freedom is seeing friends that I love and I have wonderful history with. Freedom is being in Cocoa Beach with you this weekend. Freedom is knowing that I'm right exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. Freedom is knowing that God will provide no matter what. And when I put my head on my pillow tonight, I know that I am loved. Thank you.